Hi there, welcome along to a new academic year of Taking the Biz. For new viewers, this is a channel dedicated to A-level business students and their revision. This tutorial is going to focus on the topic of economies of scale, a crucial topic in helping us understand the benefits for businesses of growth and expansion. So economies of scale is the notion that as a business grows in size and increases its level of output, although its overall costs, its total costs will increase, its cost per unit, the cost of manufacturing or producing one unit of output, actually falls. And there are several reasons for this, and we can split those reasons into two different categories. We can say that some of these reasons might be internal economies of scale, whilst others are external economies of scale. Now, our first internal reason for economies of scale are what are known as purchasing economies. And that's the notion that it becomes cheaper for larger businesses to produce a unit of output as they grow and expand, because they can purchase their stock and their raw materials in larger quantities. And because they are placing larger orders with their suppliers, they can demand discounts per unit for being a more valued customer, and so it reduces the business's unit cost. The second type of economies of scale are what are known as marketing economies. This is the idea that as a business grows and expands, it can split its marketing costs over more units of production, and it can do things like purchase advertising space in magazines, on TV channels, in larger quantities, and again can demand discounts for being a larger, more profitable customer for its supplier. The next type of economy is known as technical economies of scale. And this is the notion that larger businesses can afford to invest in greater mechanization, more up-to-date productive machinery that can perhaps produce more products in a given amount of time. And that again drives down the cost of producing each unit, because the latest technology, the most up-to-date efficient machinery, can help a business lower its unit cost. The next type of internal economy of scale is what are known as managerial economies. And this is the idea that when a business is much smaller, it may not be able to invest in as much specialization, particularly at a managerial level. Whereas as a business increases its scale of operations, as it produces in larger quantities, it becomes more viable for the business to recruit specialist managers, maybe specialist managers to work in areas of finance or in areas of operations or of marketing. And because these employees that are joining the organization are more specialist, they should be able to perform their functions more productively, and it drives down the cost of producing a unit of output. The final internal economy of scale that we can talk about are what are known as financial economies of scale. And that's because as businesses grow and expand, as they become larger, they have access to sources of finance that smaller businesses might struggle to access. And they can obtain the bank loans, perhaps at more competitive rates of interest, because they're borrowing in larger sums. They become a more valuable client for financial institutions like banks, and so they can negotiate with those banks lower rates of interest because they're a very lucrative customer for that bank, because they're borrowing much larger sums of money. Now, when it comes to external economies of scale, rather than these being issues taking place within the organization that are driving down the average cost of producing a unit of output, these are issues that are taking place across the entire industry. So not just one firm benefits from a reduction in unit costs, but all organizations in that industry may experience the same reduction in costs. And the first reason for that might be because of infrastructure changes. So perhaps local authorities or national governments invest in new infrastructure projects that all organisations in an industry might benefit from, such as the building of new transport links that benefit all firms and drive down their costs, or perhaps an investment in superfast broadband networks that all organisations in an industry might enjoy together and all experience a shared reduction in unit costs. The next reason that's external to a business that might prompt a fall in unit cost are external economies of scale associated with technological advancements. So because of scientific breakthroughs, because of advancements in research and development and new inventions and new innovations, it may be possible that all firms in an industry are able to take advantage of those advances. And so all firms in that industry together share a reduction in unit costs. Final external economy of scale could be to do with knowledge. And because a group or an industry might all be clustered in a certain geographic location, they may benefit from the knowledge that such a cluster of expertise helps to foster. So if you look at the car industry in the West Midlands in the United Kingdom, lots of firms all in the same industry are geographically located in that same area. And so expertise is developed, local universities focus on providing graduates for those industries, firms can benefit from poaching employees from each other that bring greater knowledge and skills to their organisation, and it helps drive down the unit costs of the entire industry. When there is a body of knowledge and expertise in the local area that can help make firms in that industry more productive and more efficient. So there we have economies of scale, the notion that as a business grows, it increases its units of production and the average cost of producing each item actually falls. Take a look out for our next video, which will be on diseconomies of scale, which is the opposite phenomenon. But in the meantime, good luck with your ongoing revision and don't forget to keep on taking the biz.